seat. So, shall we call you Rameshwar or Sudhakar?
Rameshwar.
Rameshwar. Okay. So, Rameshwar, you are from Latur, Maharashtra,
Yes, sir.
and you have done your BTech in Environment and Water Resources.
These were my subjects, sir. In civil engineering, my background.
It is civil engineering.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. And teaching and mentoring students, that is
my
your
hobby.
one of your hobbies.
Yes, sir.
Your optional is political science and international
Yes.
relations. You worked for some time as teacher
Yeah,
in a coaching institute,
in a coaching institute and as well as personal tutor also.
personal tutor also. So when we talk about environment,
Yes.
there are 5 R's.
Yes, sir.
Can you tell me what are those 5 R's for environmental sustainability?
Yes, sir. Sir, 5R stands for reuse,
Reuse,
reduce,
reduce,
recycle,
recycle,
then repair,
huh?
repair,
Repair.
repair,
Okay.
and I'm not able to recall the 5th one, sir.
Okay. So repair, normally it is replace.
Replace, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, sir, yes.
And the last one is refuse.
Refuse.
Yeah.
Thank
Can you give me examples of reuse? First of all, reuse. What is the example of that?
For example, if you use some plastic bottle or some glass bottles, then instead of throwing it away,
Okay.
we can reuse it for the second time.
All right. Recycle.
Recycle, we can give an example of plastic, sir.
Okay.
We can recycle it and again we can use it.
All right. Then reduce.
Reduce, I can think of 2 examples. First of all, we should reduce the plastic usage and we can also reduce the water usage whenever it is not necessary.
Water, power,
Conservation,
and so
power also.
power
So,
also. And replace.
replace is something like, sir, instead of using plastic, we can use cotton bags. We can replace that thing.
Okay.
Plastic bottles can be replaced with glass bottles.
Or with normal bulbs being replaced by LED bulbs.
Yes, sir, CFLs and LEDs.
CFL LED.
Thank you, sir.
And what is the refuse?
Refuse is something, sir, like when it is environmentally hazardous, then we should refuse those items.
For example,
single-use plastic.
Yeah. So, for example, shampoos and all those in plastic sachets.
Yes, which also contains microplastic materials.
Yeah. Okay. So, where would you take these items? One is called the dry waste, the other is wet waste, third is electromagnetic waste.
Yes. It is. Sorry, sir, I didn't get it.
One is the wet waste.
Yes.
The other is the dry waste.
Yes.
And third is the electromagnetic waste.
Yes.
So where will you dump it? I mean, what will you make of it?
Of the plastic and all?
No, the waste. There are many items in that waste.
Yes.
So first of all, talk about wet waste. Where is it?
Okay, sir.
Where is it accumulated? Wet waste.
Wet waste basically when you use like our vegetables.
Where is it produced? Yeah, where is it produced?
In our houses also.
In the kitchen.
In the kitchen. Yes, vegetables and food wastage.
So where it can go?
We dump into like there is a solid wet waste management treatment plant and all.
So compost.
Municipal corporation.
So compost.
Yes.
All right. What about dry waste?
Dry waste, again, sir, it can be segregated and treatment plant.
In the landfills.
Okay.
And what about electromagnetic waste?
E-waste.
E-waste.
E-waste goes into the factory and we can segregate the useful material.
Okay, there are separate places where you should, because they are very hazardous.
Yes, sir.
They contain various lithium, lead, cadmium and mercury and so on.
Okay.
All right. So which country, as a result of climate change, is likely to disappear, for the first country to disappear under the ocean?
First country
in the world. It comprises of about only 12,000 people. Can you name that country which is going to disappear?
No, sir. I don't have.
Okay. It's called Tuvalu.
Tuvalu.
In India, which part of India is likely to be submerged because of rising of the sea levels?
Lakshadweep, I guess.
Before that,
Uh,
in the east, what is that area which is going to submerged?
no, sir.
Sundarbans.
Sundar. Thank you.
All right. Coming to the political science and international relationships. Now, tell me, what are the different duties assigned to the President of India and the Vice President?
Yes, sir. President has various duties such as he is the executive head first of all. Then second, he also invite the budget session, first session. Then next thing would be, sir, he also framed the rules of the parliament for the effective coordination between the different ministries. And
what are the two most important things which the president has it got to do anything with defense of the country?
Yes, he is the chief commander of all
chief
the
commander.
forces.
And then what is the next thing? Who forms the government?
Yes,
and
sir.
who invites the government?
Yes, it is the president, sir.
The president invites he appoints the prime minister.
Prime minister and the council of ministers.
And vice president?
Vice president is the chairman of the Rajya Sabha. So he presides over the proceedings of the Rajya Sabha. And when president is not available, due to his work or maybe due to vacancies, then he performs the role of president.
Okay, my last question to you. What is PERT and CPM?
PERT and CPM are the different models in construction management. So to optimize the activity at the site. Because optimize, yes, sir.
Are they part of which management? What is it called?
Construction management. These are the different
construction models. Is also there is another word for what exactly is that you are implementing? What you are supervising, what you are executing, what is that? What management? It's the project management.
Project management, I'm sorry.
So it's an important tool of project management.
Yes, sir.
So that it is completed in time with the given resources.
Yes, sir.
And why the manhole covers are round in shape? Why not square?
Sorry, sir. I did not know that.
Ashokji, you can study about that.
Yes, sir, definitely, sir. Sir, the scam was related to two things. First is with respect to the co-location, like some members used to get the details of it some microseconds ahead, and second is with respect to the appointment and whatever the minutes of the meetings used to there. So I think Subramaniam is the name of that person. So he has been appointed by Miss Chitra Ramakrishnan madam. Strange thing is about, like, sir, the person is not having a financial background, but still he has been appointed to that position, and various appraisals were given in a very short period of time. Sorry, sir. Co-location means NSE has different centers to distribute the data. So it was related to that thing, sir, co-location. Servers, different servers were there. Yes, sir. Yeah. Sir, it was brought it to solve the NPA issues of a bank and the corporate insolvency proceedings, because we have a large stock of NPAs, and Sorry, sir, I'm not. Yes, sir. That housing, the uh, the investors, like the one who has the invested in the housing sector, they were also treated as the uh, operational, sorry, sir, creditors, as a creditors. So they can also file the complaints under IBC. So there was a clause related to like 10% of the members or minimum 100 members.
Minimum 100. But if the building does not comprise of 100 houses or less, then what?
10% or 100, so I'm not exactly sure about it.
And any other change that comes to your mind?
During COVID, sir, with respect to MSME, so I think they have reduced the uh, cap, financial cap, from 1 lakh to 1. So they have increased from 1 lakh to 1 crore during the COVID time, so that the filing of the cases gets reduced. And recently, sir, I can remember one more thing. With respect to NBFC also, they have brought a clause. Initially, NBFC don't used to get covered into it, so they are also trying to include NBFC under Section 227.
In the IPCC report, recent one, what have they majorly what have they recommended? What have they said?
Yes, sir. IPCC has released its 3 parts. In the first part, they have clearly stated whatever the climate change is happening, it is due to the anthropogenic activities. And second thing, they have said recently only on 4th April, they have released the third part, where they have said the target which we have set for ourselves, that is to 2050 for net neutrality, net zero emissions, we have to start immediately because we have a very small window available. So as early as possible, we should start reducing the carbon emission. And
They have given a specific year by which the carbon emissions should peak.
yes, sir, 2025 should peak. 2025.
25.
Yes, sir.
And which sector contributes the maximum in GHG, carbon dioxide emission?
It's
Which activity?
I'm not sure. I think it's, if you want,
Which is the largest source of emission of CO2?
I think it's agriculture, sir. Sorry, sir. No.
It is the power sector, power plants, thermal. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Rameshwar.
Which is the second sector after thermal power plant?
Which is
Food
the second?
processing or transportation.
Okay, Rameshwar. Now, what is the difference between water stress and water contamination?
Water stress is a situation when the groundwater availability or the water availability is less.
Groundwater availability is less. Is that so? Okay, continue.
And water contamination is when pollutant gets involved into the water. That is the water contamination. The pollutants include cadmium, arsenic, uranium.
So, water stress only the groundwater reduces in quantum. Is that so?
No, sir, not only groundwater. I'm sorry, sir. It is overall availability of the water.
Fresh water, overall availability of fresh water. So, what is the minimum projected requirement per individual or per person on annual basis of fresh water availability, which must be available to a human being, otherwise there will be problems.
Sorry, sir, I do not know that figure.
In cubic meters? No? Okay. Now, do you know Finance Commission of India, what it is and what is the purpose of this commission? How often it is, set up?
Yes, sir. So, Finance Commission is a constitutional body under Article 280 of the Constitution. It is appointed by the President. It constitutes of one chairman and 4 members. The main function of Finance Commission is to distribute the net proceed of the taxes. And second thing is with respect to augment the
To distribute or to provide a formula for distribution?
sorry, sir, to provide the formula for the net distribution of the taxes within the center and the state. Second, it also works for the terms given by the president. So, and third thing is also it augment the consolidated fund of state. It also gives the provision for it.
So when was the last commission set up? When did he give its recommendation?
So it was constituted in 2017. It was 15th Finance Commission. First report it gave for 2021 and the second report for 2021 to 2026. For 6 years they have given the report.
They have given the report. And who was the chairman?
Chairman was N.K. Singh, sir.
N.K. Singh. Okay. Now, what is a nation state? What are the characteristics of a nation state?
And nation state is a concept which represents the collective will of the people, which has a specific culture.
Collective will of the people.
Sorry, sir, it's not collective will of the people. Sorry, sir. So it is the. Sorry, sir, I'm not able to recall the exact definition of the nation state.
Okay, my last question is, in your place Latur, there was a major earthquake some years ago.
Yes.
What was the cause of that earthquake and how much devastation it caused?
So that earthquake took place on 13 September 1993 at Kilari in Latur district. The major reason for that was basically the intra-plate boundary earthquake. So, and around 30,000 people lost their life. The major reasons for which the huge casualty is basically the rubble masonry construction which these people have constructed the houses. Second, sir, it was not estimated that such kind of earthquake can took place in the very stable region because that place lies on the Deccan Plateau, which is considered to be very stable. So it was very unfortunate thing which has happened. Then third thing is with respect to the coordination issues also, because we were not able to rescue or provide the aid at earlier time. And the last and the very important reason was, sir, it took place very early in the morning, like 3:56 a.m., where people were in their sleep. So we got a very less time for handling issues.
Okay, thank you very much.
Rameshwar, yes.
When we establish, you see, big infrastructure projects, capital intensive projects, we need land. So how we actually get the land for big projects?
Sir, for that we have a Land Rehabilitation Act 2013.
Rent rehabilitation. Then it will be only for rehabilitation.
Sorry, sir. Sorry.
Full name of that.
Land Acquisition and Rehabilitation and Settlement Act 2013.
Okay, we can manage with that, yeah.
Yes. Then second thing is, no sir, I am not exactly aware about the procedural part.
How old is this act? Was there other act previous to this?
Yes.
Or this is the only act?
No, there was an act also previously, but I'm not aware exactly.
What was that act?
Yes, sir.
Land Acquisition Act.
Yes.
Now, how it is different? How the present one, which is we are implementing, how it is different from the previous one? Tell me three differences.
Sir, at this point of time, I can remember only one thing, sir. That is with respect to the compensation part.
That's all.
Yes, sir. Compensation part only.
How it is different, even on that part.
At that time, sir, it was a pre-British era act, and where there was no any provision with respect.
Pre-British era means what?
The pre-British, I mean, sir, basically it was before 1947, the year of that act.
Mhm.
Sorry, sir. Pre-independence. Sir.
So rehabilitation, I mean, compensation is one aspect.
Compensation, yes, sir. First is with respect to the compensation.
But how it is different, even on that ground, how it is different?
There was compensation in the old act also.
You have to study on that. So now you are district collector. You make a surprise visit to a village. Whom you would like to meet and why? It is your surprise visit. What you would like to see in a village?
So if I make a surprise visit, then I would like to meet with the people, first of all. Then second is with serpents of that village, and I would like to see the facilities, the basic facilities are there or not. For example, what about the road condition, water, electricity, are they getting it or not? And what about the health scenario and educational institutes? I will look into it, sir.
Not like to visit offices, the village functionaries, whether they are there or not. Would you not like to see actually some of these schemes, whether they are being implemented well or not? What are the grievances of those actually people? Okay, study more on that.
Can you tell us how the earthquake zone consideration get into the building design? You know there are earthquake zones, various.
Yes, sir. There are 4 zones.
So let's say you want to construct something in the zone 1 and something on the zone 4. What considerations get into this building design?
Sir, we have a separate code for it.
So that's what I'm asking. What are where the difference lies?
So basically, we use IS 1893 code. Under it, we take different kinds of loads into it, horizontal loads, vertical loads, and we make design according to it.
Yes, sir. That is fine, general. But number 1 zone, number 4 zone, what will be different? And the basis for this, why that difference?
Sorry, sir. I will study about it, sir.
Okay, can you tell us something about RERA, why it was required?
Sir, RERA Act was brought in 2016 to bring the transparency and accountability, and also to protect the investors' interest, the household.
So what did it do so that it protects the investors' interest?
The first thing it does it, sir, with respect to the timeline. So whatever the timeline which has been given by the constructor,
Then,
so we have to complete that project within that time frame. Then second is if you are not if he is not able to complete it, then we'll get he is fine penalty.
No, that's fine. Timeline is done. Okay, what else? You said transparency and accountability.
Second thing is with respect to accounting, he has to deposit some amount of money of that project. Before that, he cannot start the project.
Okay, just appraise yourself about the features of RERA. That now, how is our relationship with Maldives?
Sir, presently we have a good relationship with Maldives. After the Yamin government, Recently also our external affairs minister visited it. And
So there must be some problem. That's why he had to go there, isn't it? What were the issues? What are the problems?
sir, currently there is a India Out campaign going on in Maldives. So Maldives, a former president, is apprehensive about the India's help in Maldives. So he is leading that campaign. So to resolve that issue, our external affairs minister visited, and we have given some loans also and Greater Mali connectivity project also. And recently he also inaugurated the coastal radar project also in Maldives.
And since you are a teacher, have you read National Education Policy 2020?
Yes.
Tell me, what level you teach in your class?
Till 12, sir.
Till 12. So can you tell me something about the primary and secondary education?
Yes. With respect to primary, sir, there is a clause of mother tongue. So till the 5th class, the education has to be in mother tongue. Then for secondary education, the more emphasis should be given on the vocational skill aspect, and examination should not be given utmost priority rather than the critical thinking, and the assessment pattern has to be different than the earlier one.
Okay. And what are the attributes of a good teacher at primary level?
At primary level, he should be able to communicate well with the students. He should develop questioning mindset rather than just giving homeworks to the students. Then
You are saying what one should do. I'm asking what are the good attributes, characteristic of a good teacher? Whom will say is a good teacher?
the one who developed the critical thinking ability into the students and the questioning mindset.
Okay, thank you.
So Rameshwar, we'll send you back to the waiting room for a few minutes.
Okay.
We'll call you after a few moments.
Yes.
Just wait there.
Thank you. Thank you.
So Sudhakar, when is your interview fixed?
12th May, sir.
12. You have a lot of time.
Yes, sir.
So Rameshwar, it's like this that first of all, you just tell us in a few words, how do you think you fared at the interview? Your own views.
I have to work a lot, sir.
Okay.
With respect to civil engineering, various acts, and there has to be a preciseness in my answer. And I think I also need to be more louder while communicating.
Yes. More energy.
More energy.
Yes.
Yes.
So more energy would mean that you will be able to project a more confident.
Yes, sir.
Otherwise you will appear to be less confident.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
आपका इंग्लिश एक्सप्रेशन भी थोड़ा पुअर है, जैसे मोर लाउडर नहीं होता, लाउडर ही होता है। हाँ, तो कई जगह आपने बोला इस तरह से।
So often I face that difficulty only, sir, because I completed my schooling from vernacular background. So I'm not that much comfortable in Hindi also.
अच्छा, हिंदी में तो आप मराठी में कर सकते हैं। मराठी में आजकल तो मराठी में भी ले सकते हैं इंटरव्यू।
But now of course the interview has to be in
हाँ,
English.
अब तो होगा अंग्रेजी में, बट
इंटरव्यू मराठी में था।
So let us come to the exact areas.
Yes, sir.
Environment is an environment and water resource.
Yes.
Both are your important subjects in BTech.
Yes.
So you will have to prepare very well on that.
Okay, sir.
Part of some of the very elementary questions which I asked you, you were able to answer.
Yes, sir.
I intentionally asked you so that you can build up your confidence
Yes.
in terms of use of 5 R's, and then which country are going to be submerged and so on.
Okay.
But then about water resource, you will have to prepare. For example, the things which were asked to you regarding the water stress and water
water contamination.
contamination. So that you need to study.
Study.
Then, for example, the requirement of the minimum requirement of water
Yes.
for survival or sustenance,
Yes.
that you have to do. By the way, do you know how much water is consumed by an average Indian per day?
It is 55 ml per day. 55
No.
liters.
135 liters.
135
Yeah,
liters.
135 liters is the average
Okay.
in India. Okay, but for survival, it is less than that. Okay. Then of course the concrete technology, etc., that is the civil engineering part.
Yes.
So I asked you a very simple mundane question about why manhole covers are round, and so you should be able to give that answer why they are not square. Go and look up into that.
Yes, I got confused in between. When you asked PERT and CPM, no. So
PERT and
also-
CPM are parts of project
No,
management.
yes, sir.
Huh?
So I imagine that diagram we used to draw circles into that while preparing a chart. So I thought, why we are using circles? So it was like interpretation problem.
That
from
was the
my side.
second part of the question.
Manhole. So I didn't
Manhole
listen that
cover.
manhole. I thought it is in the continuation
No,
of
no,
CPM
no.
and PERT.
So manhole covers are round because so that they do not fall inside.
Yes,
If it is
sir.
rectangle, diagonally they can fall inside.
Yes, sir.
That is why they are not square. Then so reinforced cement concrete, all those things, construction, use of iron, latest technology, how bridges are constructed, retro engineering, how buildings are protected against earthquakes, high rise buildings, all these things you will have to prepare on civil engineering side. Then of course coming to some of the very important areas like for example national education policy, prepare very well on that. Prepare very well on the land acquisition side, the various acts which are important in district administration. So let me just narrate some of them.
Yes, sir.
The Criminal Procedure Code, the Indian Penal Code, the Land Acquisition Code, the Public Premises Act, and there are so many things, you know. So how the new Land Acquisition Act is different from the old Acquisition Act? There are many parts, you see. For example, or not all lands can be acquired. Lands are graded. Some lands cannot be acquired. Okay, only that which is uncultivable land, you know, there is a quality, only that can be acquired, and there is a provision for compensation, which is generally the market rates of the compensation also,
Yes,
which was not there in earlier.
Yes,
so there are many differences. You must know that. Surprise inspection question, when it was asked, the first thing that one will have to do is that the village level functionaries, whether they are present in their offices or not. So whether it can be teacher, it can be patwari, it can be gram sachiv, it can be veterinary doctor, and so on. So that is one thing. Then you will turn towards, because it is surprise inspection. If you do not go to those institutions, by the time someone will intimate to them, they will reach. It is surprise. There are two types of inspection. One is a regular structured inspection, the other is surprise inspection. So sometimes surprise inspections are also resorted to. Then the roles of the collector, that you must know. Revenue administration, the criminal administration, and various powers it is had under the Criminal Procedure Code. And third is the coordinating function. So he is the coordinator amongst many departments: agriculture, forest, power, irrigation. So there are line departments, separate departments. There are different officers, but he coordinates the activity. Then fourth is the election. Fifth is disaster management. And lastly, but not the least important, he also oversees implementation of various schemes which have been launched by the government. Let it be it in many sectors. It can be in women child development, it can be fisheries, it can be forest, everything. So you must prepare the schemes relating to women, because women empowerment is a very important subject. Then for children, and then for senior citizens and disadvantaged sector, SC, ST, handicapped, and so on. So this is nut and shell. You prepare on these lines. And the other questions also, since you will be having a recording of this particular thing, go through that and prepare well on that. The Finance Commission, you were able to come out. Nation state was one thing which, Latour earthquake, you were able to come out with that. So since your subject is political science and international relations, so relation of India with neighbors, that is very important. So and then the situation as it is developing in the adjoining areas in Pakistan and Sri Lanka, All these things you have to prepare.
Yes, sir.
The Russian-Ukraine
Ukraine
conflict,
crisis,
India's
yes, sir.
position, India's stand, and so on. Now, the threat of financial sanctions given by both Russia, about the United States of
Yes,
America
yes.
against Russia and also against India. All these things. So that's about it. Any question you have? Otherwise, you are okay, but you can be better.
Yes,
And
sir.
if you prepare well, which is lot of time is at your disposal,
Yes, sir.
go to a district and find out how things work in a district.
Yes,
Meet
sir.
one
Yes,
officer.
sir.
He will tell you everything. Then earthquake zone, the RERA.
Yes.
So the RERA is the latest act, and the earthquake zone you must prepare. Then the relationship with Maldives. So as I said, neighbors and national education policy. All these things. So you just need to sharpen your knowledge
Yes,
and depth in the knowledge.
yes.
Okay, and
Okay.
be confident. Smile once in a while,
Yes, sir.
and you should be bristling with confidence rather than being depressed or morose or apologetic. Don't be apologetic.
Okay, sir.
There you have to give out your best in 20 minutes.
Okay, sir.
So enter the room with great amount of confidence, wish them, and come
Yes,
out with the answers.
Yes, sir.
If you do not understand a question at that time, you can always request for repeating the question. And before answering, always wait for a while, let that question churn inside you,
Yes, sir.
and
Okay.
then think about the answer, which is the most important part of the answer. Come out with that first, then the second, then the third, and always give examples. Always,
Okay, sir.
to support of your answers. Okay,
Okay,
so that will give you a very good overall figure. Okay,
okay, sir.
so all the best to you.
Sir, I have one question only, sir.
Yeah.
So with respect to national education policy, so it's a 66 pages document. So could you suggest me like in what way I should prepare that document? Because my experience is also in the teaching. So what could be the probable areas? How I should segregate?
I think you should know the key features which are different from the previous policy, and try to focus on primary and secondary because that's where you are involved more. Tertiary is important but may not be very relevant, so may not come up in the discussion, but at least you should be familiar with. All you should know is what is the focus of this, what it wants to achieve, and why it is different from the previous one. Like when you said that mother tongue or local language has going in, very good. And likewise, what are the other recommendations for primary and secondary education? Just get the crux of it.
Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Thank you. All the best.
Unacademy. Let's crack it.